أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على النبي الأمي العربي القرشي المكي المدني الهاشمي صاحب قاب قوسين محبوب رب المشرقين والمغربين جد الحسن والحسين نبي الحرمين والإمام القبلتين والرسول الثقلين الذين سمي في السماء بأحمد وفي الأرض بأبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين المنتخبين المنتجبين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين روح وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدم الابتداء واللعنة الدائمة الباقية على أعدائهم ومنكر فضائلهم وغاصب حقوقهم أجمعين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه تبارك وتعالى في محكم كتابه ومتقن خطابه. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يعوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. لا إكراه في الدين قد تبين الرشد من الغي ومن يكفر بالتاغوت ويؤمن بالله فقد استمسك بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله سميع عليم. رسالة صلوات series of discussions today is the last one, and we attempted in these discussions to try and reflect on this aspect, this belief of Tawheed, and how it has been explained to us and understood through Ahlul Bayt themselves. Therefore, we mentioned various aspects of the belief in Tawheed, and we mentioned the essentials that are necessary for understanding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In reality, if we try to understand, or if we try to go towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with any other way other than the way that He, or the course that He has designed, the people that He has sent, then it will not be possible for us to reach to that correct understanding that is necessary. And this, in reality, even without any ayat or any hadith, would be evident, because if it was possible Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not have the need to send representatives in order for us to recognize Him. The fact that He sent representatives are not just one or two, but 124,000 prophets is a proof in itself that it's necessary to have representatives of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in order to recognize Him. And amongst the other things, of course, not just believing in Him, but knowing the rights and responsibilities, which we referred to briefly yesterday evening, would not be possible except through having somebody educate us and teach us about that. And in reality, that is the case for any worldly knowledge. If somebody said, for example, that I'll read all the medical textbooks and therefore I'll be a doctor, everyone will say that you lost your mind. First you need to go and see a doctor to cure your mind before you can cure anybody else. You can't read the text, just read the textbooks and think that I've become a doctor, or read all the engineering textbooks and become an engineer, or read all the law textbooks and think that I'm a legal expert. If I don't educate myself from those who already practice these fields, there's no way just through the textbooks that I can become a practitioner of those areas. And this is about the knowledge and the fields which are worldly and therefore limited. The knowledge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is unlimited in comparison to that. And therefore it's impossible for a person to say that I'll read the Quran and be a good person without having to refer to the person whom the Quran is revealed to. And Quran itself says this, that we revealed this Quran to you, Ya Rasulullah, لِتُبَيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ, so that you might explain it to the people. That means it needs explanation. And the person doing the explanation, the person responsible for the explanation, the person who will give the correct explanation will only be the one who has come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, it is not sufficient for me to think that I can know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants except without the representatives of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaching me, educating me about Allah and about what does He expect from me. Otherwise, what would happen? If I chose to take Tawheed from somebody else and not from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then I would read in the Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a hand, Yadullah fawqa aydihim. Allah's hand is above all the other hands. And if I decided to take this ayat literally, then I would think that He has a hand the way that you and I and everybody else has a hand. And anybody who believes that would be liable or guilty of shirk, that he would be limited to a physical entity when he is much beyond that. Or the Holy Quran says that on the Day of Judgment people would see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then I would take that literally to mean that I would see something physical of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And therefore in my mind I would make reading these verses that there's a arsh and there's a kursi, and that on the arsh there's a chair, on the chair there is a fat, dark-skinned person who, alayadu billah, some people say is Allah. And that on the Day of Judgment the hellfire would call out and say that there's still space in me, so alayadu billah, this dark-skinned, fat person would put their leg in the hellfire. And then the hellfire would say, that's enough, it's sufficient. Sounds like a comedy show. Sounds like we're talking about a monster, not about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In reality, this is what would happen if I took Tawheed from anybody else other than Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wassalam. So this is why it's necessary for me to know and understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if He sent representatives to me, they have a purpose, not just to as a male person, like the person who comes every day, delivers mail to my house. So his own responsibility is to deliver it. You are no concern with what's in it, what it is about, so on and so forth. That's his own responsibility. That is not the messenger of Allah, and even though some people believe that to be the case. That's not the case. The case is that it is impossible to know Quran, it is impossible to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is impossible to know Tawheed in the way that it's supposed to be known if there's no messenger of Allah. And this we mentioned in the first majlis as well, that in reality the messenger of Allah is so important that without his existence there's no recognition for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself says that I was a hidden treasure, I wanted to be recognized. So I created in order to be recognized. And Rasulullah says that I was the first one to recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the way that He deserves to be recognized. When and where and how didn't exist at that time. When was it? There was no when. Time was created after. Where was it? Space was also created after. How was it? We don't know anything. All we know is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was there, and there was one entity who recognized Him, and that was Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So if it wasn't for Him, there's no recognition of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Without the existence of the Prophet, there's no recognition of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at all. Therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that not only the Prophet is important in order to recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but he's also important for another purpose, and that is what? Yesterday we mentioned the ayah that when the disbelievers say to the Prophet that you are not a messenger, وَيَقُولُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَسْتَ مُرْسَلًا, they say, the disbelievers say that you are not a messenger. So Paul tell them, كَفَى بِاللَّهِ شَهِيدًا بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَكُمْ وَأَنْ عِنْدُهُ عِلْمُ الْكِتَابِ. Allah is sufficient, and Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam is sufficient. Allah is sufficient as a witness, and Ali alayhi salatu wasalam is sufficient as a witness, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has only mentioned this because of yesterday, what did we say about responsibility? Otherwise, even Allah and Ali are not necessary. Rasulullah, whether anybody testifies to him or not. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that because I have made this responsibility on you, that when you want to prove something, you have to bring two witnesses. I also have brought two witnesses in order to prove the risalat of my messenger of Rasulullah, that I am a witness and Ali ibn Abi Talib is a witness. So this is about the risalah, this is about the prophethood of the Holy Prophet of Islam. But Quran tells us that there will be a day of judgment, and people will come and they will say that, Ya Allah, you didn't send us any guidance. Allah, you didn't send us any guidance. So how could we be expected to know and recognize you when you didn't send us any guidance. So at that moment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that we have made upon every nation a witness. Over every nation. Every nation, a prophet is a witness over them. And we have made you, Ya Rasulullah, a witness over all of them. Question. In order to be a witness, what are the conditions? What is the condition of being witness? Number one, first condition of being witness is that you have to see whatever you're made witness over with your own eyes. First condition is that you have to see whatever you made the witness over with your own eyes. If you don't, that's why it's called eyewitness. If you don't see it, you can't be an eyewitness. Even if you go to court, say that I want to be a witness of this case, they'll say, did you see it? So you didn't see it. If you didn't see it, how can you be a witness? If you didn't see what happened, you can't be a witness. Number two, you have to be there. Not only you have to see it, but you also have to physically be there, present, before you can be a witness over something. I'm born in I'm giving it away. I'm born in 1986. If you say to me, I want you to be a witness over a case that happened in 1980, would say, you weren't born at that time. You weren't even born at that time. How can you be a witness over something that happened before you were born? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that we made every single prophet a witness over their own nations. Okay, we know that they were there, they were prophets over their nations, they saw what happened, they witnessed that they delivered the message, and we made you, Ya Rasulullah, witness over all of them. If you weren't there and you didn't see it and you weren't born, how can you be a witness? This ayat not mentioned once, 3 times in the Holy Quran. In Surah Mubarakah An-Nisa and Surah Mubarakah An-Nahl. And on the third occasion, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that we made, and Surah Baqarah, that we made you. Surah Mubarakah Baqarah, Surah Mubarakah An-Nisa and Surah Mubarakah An-Nahl. 3 occasions we made you, Ya Rasulullah, a witness over all those previous prophets. Why? Because when those nations would come and they would say that we didn't have any guidance, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would bring those prophets. Those prophets would say, we delivered the guidance. In order to do itmam of hujjah, to complete the argument, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, do you have any witnesses that you delivered the message? And they will say, yes, Rasulullah is a witness that we were sent and we delivered the message. Without having seen something and without having been there physically present, you can't be a witness over something. These 3 ayat in themselves are a proof that Rasulullah is there from the beginning, and not only is there, he's witnessing every single prophet's action. In order to confirm all of this, when Rasulullah goes to Mi'raj, Jibreel says, Ya Rasulullah, ask all the prophets on which condition were they given prophethood. Jibreel says, Ya Rasulullah, ask them, on which conditions were all of these 123,999 who are praying behind you on the 4th heaven, what condition were they given the prophethood? And they all replied, Ya Rasulullah, we were given prophethood on the condition that we testified to the finality of your prophethood and the wilayat of Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam. And in the ayat in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, not only the previous prophets, but there's a nation coming after you and they're a witness over that nation, and you are a witness over them. If somebody's died, and then they're brought as a witness for something else on the Day of Judgment, they'll say that this person was dead. How can he be a witness over something that happened after he died? How can he be a witness over something that happened after he died? He says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that we made you the Ummatul Wasat, the just nation, Surah Al-Baqarah, and we made you, Ya Rasulullah, witness over them. After you, not all the prophets who came before you, they will of course come and they will say, we didn't get the guidance. The people will say, the ones who want to reject. Rasulullah will come and say that I testify that every single prophet who came before me, they fulfilled their responsibility and their role in the way that they're supposed to do it. And then they will get those people will be punished. Because Rasulullah and that prophet, both of them will testify that we delivered the message. Similarly, for afterwards, he says there's a nation coming after you, and the nation that's coming after you, they'll be a witness over that nation that's coming after, and you are a witness over them. You are a witness over them. If you're dead, how can you be a witness over them who's coming after you? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that these ayat prove to you that not only He is there from the beginning, but He's going to be there until the end as well. Not only He's there from the beginning, He's going to be there till the end as well. How will He be a witness over every nation to come if He's not there witnessing what's happened after? Then they will say that yes, after you, people, they changed their religion. After you, they rejected what you had told them to do. And so they will also bring the same excuse, Ya Rasulullah, we didn't know. Then Rasulullah would ask, they said, who is Ummah Wasat? Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says it refers to A'imma wa al-Bad alayhi salatu salam. Then A'imma alayhi salam would deliver the message, and they would say that we delivered the message to each of these communities. And Ya Rasulullah, you are a witness over the fact that we delivered the message. So not only 123,999 prophets who came before, but also all the imams who come afterwards, Rasulullah is the one who will be witness over all of them. And how important is this witness? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says for Tawheed. Our topic is Tawheed. Recite Salawat ala Muhammad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Shahid Allahu annahu la ilaha illahu. Allah is a witness that there's no God but Him. Allah Himself is a witness. Wal malaikatu, and the angels are a witness. Wa ulul ilmi qa'iman bil qist. And the possessors of knowledge who are established on justice are a witness that there's no God but Allah. That there's no God but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah Himself is a witness. The angels are a witness, and those who are firmly rooted or ulul ilm, possessors of knowledge, qa'iman bil qist, established on justice, they are a witness. That there is no God but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That in reality, if you need proof for the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no greater proof than the existence of Muhammad and Allah. Not only His existence, but all of His attributes, all of His sifat. What the sifat of being witness is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a witness. He is Ash-Shaheed, He is the witness over everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a witness over everything. Why? Because as we mentioned, the first discussion, which we're coming to our conclusion, first discussion we said that not only He's the possessor, He's omnipotent, but He's also omniscient. So not only He has power over everything, but He knows everything as well. And therefore He's a witness of everything. Nothing can be hidden from Him. And in order to understand His characteristics, His attributes, because it's impossible. To know His attributes is impossible. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says we created those individuals who are reflection of His attributes. We created individuals who are reflections, not the same. This is very important. To preserve Tawheed, they are reflections of His attributes. Because nobody can be like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٍ. There is nothing that is like Him. But they are reflections of His divine essence. They are reflections of His divine attributes. So much so that you could be able to recognize that attribute in its practical form. Not just the theory of this attribute, but it's practical. How is it lived in one's life? And when you're able to reflect on that, then you're able to reflect that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is unique. And nobody can be like Him. If there's nobody who could be like them, who are reflections of His attributes. Who are reflections of His attributes, then how could there be anyone who's like Him? How could there be anyone who's like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when it's impossible to get somebody who's like the Holy Prophet of Islam? Recite salawat And because the Holy Prophet of Islam was so crucial in recognizing, in making sure that Tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is preserved, that when Allah created all of these things, you know, these things, the fadail that we mentioned regarding Muhammad, they're all reflections of Tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Each and every one of them. Let me quickly mention a couple of them. You recall that I mentioned the first one is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is omniscient, He's omnipotent, He has no problems in creating. So then why does He say that we created the nur of Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and then we divided it, and Rasulullah says, Ana wa Ali min nurin wahid. Ya Allah, You are omnipotent, You are qadir, wa huwa ala kulli shayin qadir. Why didn't You create another nur and say this nur is Muhammad and this nur is Ali? He says, I've done this in order to preserve my Tawheed, that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one. Even Nur of Muhammad and Mustafa is divisible. When we divided it, it became Ali, then we divided it, it became Hassan, then we divided it, it became Hussein. Then we divided. Then we divided it and it became all of the Aimma. And if you want proof of the significance of that nur, that when all of them come together, under the Kisa, even Jibreel from the Arsh has to call out and say, Ya Rabbi wa man tahta al-Kisa. Jibreel, how can you ask this question? You come to this house multiple times a day. You know every single person in this house. You know every single person in this house. You come here to do wahi. You come here to help Fatima with the housework. You come here to rock the cradle of Hassan and Hussein. And then you're asking who's under the Kisa. Jibreel might reply, when I go in the house, I see them separately. Today they're all together. When Jibreel, Ma'soom angel, can't see them when they're all together, that he has to ask, Ya Rabbi wa man tahta al-Kisa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to preserve His Tawheed. Otherwise, if they come all together, then if they come all together, angel on the Arsh says, Ya Rabbi wa man ta'ta al-kisa. And when they come out at Mubahala, Abu al-Haris says, if they tell the mountains to leave their places, they'll leave. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I preserved my Tawheed. There would have been people worshipping them. I preserved my Tawheed by keeping them separate from one another. Recite salawat ala. This is Azamat of Rasulullah, the Noor of Rasulullah, who is the witness over everything that comes before him and comes after him, in order to preserve the Tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes people think that, for example, you mentioned that Imam Amir al-Mu'minin was born in Kaaba. There's a fadilat for Imam Amir al-Mu'minin. So nowadays you have people bring out, oh Fulan, so and so, nobody's heard of this person, but so and so is also born in the Kaaba. Fadilat is not being born in the Kaaba. Fadilat is not being born in Kaaba. This is a need from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah knows that one day there's going to be people who are going to say that Ali is God. So we made his birthplace so manifest that if somebody says on the day of judgment, we thought he is God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replied, we made his birthplace so manifest so that you would know that he is not God. Because he was born, and he was born at a place so famous that everybody knows where he was born. All of this is for the preservation of Tawheed. Every fadilat is for the preservation of Tawheed, preservation of the belief in Allah Azza wa Jalla. Recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. If you recite one more salawat and move forward so that people who come in the back and all have to start. So recite salawat ala Muhammad. Recite one more salawat. This is the need for Rasulullah and why he's so important in the beginning of his life, before he comes into this life, and even after it. What does this ayah say? That Allahu la ilaha illahu wal hayyul qayyum la ta'khudhuhu sinatun wa la nawm. That means whoever doesn't sleep is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we made Ali sleep one night. We made him sleep one night so that you don't say La ta'khudhuhu sinatun wa la nawm. So that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's Tawheed is intact. That only Allah, he doesn't sleep. Even Ali, we made him sleep one night. Yes, he stays up all night in ibadat, but we made him sleep one night. مَنْ ذَا الَّذِي يَشْفَعُ عِنْدَهُ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِهِ. This is very important. There is no shafa'at except by his permission. This is a technique that's used in all the languages, but particularly in Arabic. When you want to emphasize something, you say illa. Nothing except this. That means that they're emphasizing this point. That there is shafa'at. There is shafa'at, but only with his permission. So, point is that his permission, his idhn is important. His idhn is important. Now, in order to understand shirk, in order to understand difference between that shirk and shafa'at, very important. If I decide that this is the way to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's shirk. If I made something and attributed it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's shirk. Because I made it. I decided it. I made it, I created it, therefore it's shirk. The people in Makkah used to say we have 365 idols, one for each day. Quran says there, mushrik. Why? Because they made the idols. They used to say that we don't believe these idols are God. We believe God is one. Mushrikeen of Makkah used to say that we believe idols are one. God is one. These idols are just a way to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if I made something and attributed it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's shirk. But if he makes something and attributes it to himself, if he makes something, if he makes someone, if he makes something attributed to himself, then this is not shirk, it's Ahl Tawheed. We already mentioned on the 5th majlis, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made Kaaba. Allah made Hajar Aswad, he made Safa and Marwa. All of these things, objects, are attributed to him. Therefore, without doing it, there is no Tawheed. Similarly, anything that's attributed to Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam is the way towards Tawheed, not the way towards shirk. Is the way towards Tawheed, because Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam is the representative of Tawheed. Therefore, it's the responsibility of this majlis and every majlis. Today, Eve of Ashura, no majlis after this. So we have to mention that every single majlis, you know, it's a miracle of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that there's no place in the world, no country in the world, even the places you haven't heard of, there's Azhar of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. This is because you, I are not responsible for this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is responsible. He says that you have to do something for me. If you do something for me, then I will do everything for you. And we made your remembrance elevated. Why? Because you did everything for me. You did everything for me, so therefore every single place we have to make dua, and we are responsible, we have a responsibility to make dua for every single place where majlis of Allah, that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect them, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow them to carry out this azam and give us all tawfiq to be part of this. Why? Because He doesn't need us. Allah doesn't need me, Muhammad Mustafa doesn't need me, Hussain doesn't need me. If I'm not here, there'll be somebody else. But He gave me tawfiq to be part of this. Therefore, if I'm serving in whichever way, whether I'm serving by reciting Quran, or reciting poetry, or reciting lecture, or reciting ziyarah, or picking up the sheets, or giving out the food, Hussain alayhi salam doesn't need me. Hussain doesn't need me. I need this harsh and this azab, because those who are attributed to this azab, to this member, to this majlis, to this service, they'll be remembered, because Hussain alayhi salam is remembered. Anybody who's a servant of this farsh, of this azab, will be remembered. So therefore, I have to humble myself. I have to offer gratitude to all those who made this farsh a possibility. And you too are requested to remember them in their du'as. Those who made sure that you was fed before they eat. Those who made sure that when we came here, the farsh was all set up. Everything was ready for us. Obviously somebody came beforehand to set it up. That's how it was ready. Therefore, those people would get ajr from Hazrat Az-Zahra salamullah. You, I, nobody can give them ajr other than Zahra salamullah. But it's my responsibility. It is the responsibility of Sharaf to say thanks. Why? Because man lam yashkur an-nas lam yashkur Allah. Whoever doesn't thank the people can't thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So therefore we have to offer and we have to express our gratitude and make sure that that's clear and apparent, that we are grateful once again to be part of this Azhar of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. And this Azhar of Imam Hussain alayhi salam has the responsibility of whosoever comes here. And it's not about me and it's not about you, it's not about anyone else. It's about this Azhar of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu salam. I have a responsibility that if I believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His Prophet and Imam Hussain alayhi salatu salam, that I try and use this opportunity as a way to bring reform into my life. Not because I'm saying it. I have no right to tell you anything. But I have a right and I have a responsibility to tell you what Imam Hussain alayhi salam wants from you and from me. Then it's up to you. Then it's up to you. If you think that Imam Hussain alayhi salam is important, and of course you do, that's why you came here for his majlis, then you will try to bring some changes into your life. Otherwise, I have no right to tell anybody anything. But yes, I have a responsibility to tell them that this is what Hussain alayhi salam wants and this is what Hussein's grandfather wants. And Hussain alayhi salam and his grandfather want only one thing, and that is Islam of this. That is reform of this nation. That's what Imam Hussain alayhi salam says on the first day when he's leaving Medina. He says that all I want is for people to become good people. All I want is for you to be a good person. That's it. That good person includes being a good person to everybody else, but it also means, in this respect, we have to clarify here, of course, that good person includes me, includes the meaning that I have to do the obligations that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained on. I have to stay away from that which is forbidden. That includes being the Islam of the nation, that I want to act. Imam Hussain alayhi salam said, I want to act on the seerat of my grandfather Rasul. Asiru bisirat jaddi wa abi ali. That if there's any seerat, any practice, any way to follow, that is the way of Rasulullah, it is the way of Ali ibn Abi Talib. And so Imam Hussain alayhi salam says, I'm not just saying this. When I'm going to Karbala, I'm taking a representative of each of these people. To tell you, to show you, to demonstrate to you that this is what I mean by the seerat of Rasulullah and the seerat of that this message, this remembrance of Karbala is a remembrance, is a reminder for Tawheed, for a reminder for Rasulullah, a reminder for Amirul Mu'mineen. That's why we mention these topics. Otherwise, there's hundreds of other things to talk about. But we talked about these things because this is what Imam Hussain ﷺ says in his own mission statement. When he reaches Karbala, they ask him, why are you here? He asks them, why do you want to kill me? They say, because we hate your father. So we made Muharram the time to mention Amirul Mu'mineen so that we can tell everyone that yes, those people who wanted to kill Hussain salam hated Amirul Mu'mineen and we are not with them. We are not with them. Whoever thinks that, whoever killed Imam Hussain salam, let them come and say that we also want to talk about Amirul Mu'mineen because those who killed him, they hated Amirul Mu'mineen. And Hussain alayhi salam says, we've brought a representative of Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam, and we also brought a representative of Rasulullah. We also brought a representative of Rasulullah. Allah. We brought a representative of Rasulullah. Hussain alayhi salatu salam on the morning of Ashura. Tonight is the night of Ashura. We have the night to pray, the night to weep, wail, remember Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Even I recited the Fadail Hussain alayhi salam, morning of Ashura. Imagine, he's traveling for 6 months, he has a muazzin. This is the practice of the time. They used to be muazzin, professional muazzin. Hajjaj ibn Masruq is the shaheed of Karbala. He's the muazzin of Prophet. Every place he gives the adhan. But on the morning of Ashura, Hussain al-Salam says, Ali Akbar, I want you to give the adhan. Ali Akbar, I want you to give the adhan. Hussain al-Salam is reminding people, saying, don't you say, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah? Look at the one who looks like Rasulullah. Maybe just by looking at him, you might change your mind. Just look at him. Hussain alayhi salam, the morning of Ashura, all the maqatil say, morning of Ashura, he prepares Ali. Puts on the amama of Rasulullah, the abba of Rasulullah, the zira of Rasulullah, the armor of Rasulullah, the sword, even the horse of Rasulullah. Imagine, it's mentioned that the horse is only given of the ma'soom, is only used by the ma'soom, but on the morning of Ashura, Imam Hussain alayhi salam gives Murtajiz, the horse of Rasulullah, to Ali Akbar. And he prepares him. He says, Ali Akbar, this is our family's matter. You know, it's an announcement. Somebody might have said, Hussain alayhi salam let his companions be killed and he saved his family members. He says, no. This battle is so important. This fighting is so important that I'm willing to sacrifice someone like Ali Akbar on this day. Now, of course, companions of Imam Hussain alayhi salam says, oh no, it's not possible that you let Ali Akbar die and we stay alive. One by one, each of the companions are killed. And Hussain alayhi salam, finally, he gets permission to, or he prepares Ali Akbar to go to the battle. When he's prepared from the morning. He's waiting from the morning. He tells Ali Akbar, go to bid farewell to the women. Ali Akbar goes into the tent of the ladies, and the Maqatil states that he goes in. But as he's trying to come out, the curtain of the tent goes up and then it goes down. It goes up and then it goes down. And every time Ali Akbar tries to leave, he's unable to leave. There's no record of this in the Maqatil, but I feel that if it was someone older, they would have held onto his shoulder. This must be somebody who's so short that holds onto his robe so that he doesn't leave. It must be Sakina who says, Ali Akbar, don't leave us. Tonight is the night of Ashura, it's the night to remember Hussain. May Fatima Zahra salamullah accept your tears. Somehow Ali Akbar manages to gather his robe and come out. When he comes out, Hussain alayhi salam puts down his knee and Ali Akbar gets onto the horse. When he gets onto the horse, Hussain alayhi salam points to the sky with the finger of Shahadat, index finger raised to the sky, and he says, Allahumma ushhidu ala haula'il qawm laqad baraza ilaykum ghulamun ashbahan nas khalqan wa khulqan wa mantiqan bi rasulik. Hussain alayhi salam, he doesn't say this for anybody, only for Ali Akbar. He says, oh my Allah, remain a witness against this group of people, against these people that I'm sending into the battlefield. That son of mine who looks like Rasulullah, who talks like Rasulullah, who has the akhlaq of Rasulullah. And even this statement was heartbreaking enough if it wasn't accompanied by the statement Imam Hussain alayhi salam makes after this. He says, وَإِذَا اشْتَقْنَا إِلَىٰ رُؤْيَةِ النَّبِيِّكَ نَظَرْنَا إِلَيْكَ. And when we wanted to see Rasulullah, do ziyarat of Rasulullah, we used to look at Ali Akbar. Ajrukum lillah. Hussain alayhi salam says, Ali Akbar, go in the bathroom. Goes in the bathroom. He goes into the bathroom. He feels that there's somebody coming behind him. He stops the horse, he turns around and says, Baba, you gave me permission to go to the battlefield. You gave me permission to go to the battlefield. Hussain alayhi salam says something that really is heartbreaking. What does he say? He says, Ali Akbar, if you had somebody, if you had a son who was as handsome as you, and then he asked you permission to die, permission to die, then I would have seen, how did you give him permission to die? Hussain alayhi salam says, and he says this only for Ali Akbar. He says, Ali Akbar, go to the battlefield, fight. But from time to time, keep looking back, so that I see you. I did a ziyarat of the face of Rasulullah. Ali Akbar goes into the battlefield. He goes into the battlefield and he says, he comes into the battlefield, their enemies, people of Ibn Ziyad say, Rasulullah has come into the battlefield. There's people there who were alive at the time of Rasulullah. They say, this is Rasulullah who's come into the battlefield. How do we fight him? Umar ibn Sa'd says, this is not Rasulullah, this is Ali Akbar. He merely looks like Rasulullah. Fight him! Ali Akbar comes into the battlefield and he says, Ana Ali ibn Husayn ibn Ali. Nahnu wa Rabbul Bayti awla bin Nabi. Says, I am Ali, son of Hussein, son of Ali. And we swear by the Lord of the house are the most superior after the Prophet. Wallahu tallahi la yahkumu fina ibn da'i. Know that the son of the prostitute can never rule over us. اضربوا بالسيف أحاميا ابن الضرب غلام هاشمي قرشي. Look at the battle of the one who is the representative of Hashim and of Quraysh. In his first attack he kills 120 people. Imagine, hungry, thirsty, over 100 degrees Fahrenheit heat, and he kills 120 people. Hussain alayhi salam is standing at the entrance of the tent and he's watching Ali Akbar. And his mother, Layla, is watching Hussain alayhi salam. All of a sudden, the color of the face of Hussain alayhi salam changes. It becomes paler. Layla says, oh my master Hussain, is my son okay? Is my son okay? Hussain alayhi salam says he's okay, but the person who's come to fight him is a very brave warrior. Pray for your son. I heard my grandfather Rasulullah say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't reject the prayer of a mother. Oh, the one who returned Yusuf to Yaqub. Return my son to me. Layla completes the prayer. Ali Akbar comes back from the battlefield. When a young person wants something from his elder, what does he do? First, he makes that elder praise him. Says, this is what I've done. Do you acknowledge it? Then he asks for something. Ali Akbar says the same. He says, oh my father Hussein, did you see my battle today? Did you see the battle today? Hussein says, Ali Akbar, surely you fought the way that the grandson of Haidar al-Karrar should fight. Truly you fought in the way that the son of Rasulullah should fight. Truly you fought in the way that the son of the Imam of the time should fight. Ali Akbar says, Baba, just a drop of water. A drop of water, and I would put all of the enemy into hellfire. Hussein alayhi salam, the one who used to fulfill the wishes of Ali Akbar before he asked. Today, Hum Shakl Mustafa, Ali Akbar has asked him for something and he can't fulfill it. He says, Ali Akbar, put your tongue on my tongue. Ali Akbar puts his tongue on Imam Hussein's tongue and he takes it out. He says, Baba, your tongue is drier than mine. Hussein alayhi salam says, Ali Akbar, go to the battlefield. Now your grandfather Rasulullah would quench your thirst from Kawthar. Ali Akbar goes back to the battlefield. He fights. As he's fighting, the enemy Hasin ibn Namir or Hussein ibn Namir, he fires a spear into the chest of Ali Akbar. It lands on his chest. And then he's falling off the horse of the weight of the spear that's landed on his chest. He's the only shaheed in Karbala. Every single shaheed calls out, oh my master, come to my aid, come to my assistance, come to my help. Ali Akbar doesn't say any of these things. He knows. Why? He knows. He had put his tongue in the tongue of his father. He knows how dry that mouth is. So he says, Alayka minna salam. He says, oh my father, accept my salam. I'm not even giving you the trouble to say wa alaykum salam. I know how dry your mouth is. Hussein comes running out of the tent. And he says, Ali Akbar, just this sound of yours has made me go black in front of my eyes. I can't see anything. I can't see anything. I feel like saying, oh Hur, oh Habib, oh Zahra, where are you? How will the elderly father pick up the body of the young son? Ajrakum ilallah. Hussein alayhi salam, he is blacked out. Somehow he reaches the battlefield. He picks up Ali Akbar. Ali Akbar, he has one hand on his chest, as though he's hiding something. Hussein alayhi salam says, Ali Akbar, last pangs of life are left. You know, it's just at the moment of about to die. He says, Hussein alayhi salam says, Ali Akbar, I can't carry you. Your body is too heavy. So put your arms in my neck so I can drag your body to the tent. This is the night of Ashura, it's the night of crying. As much as you can cry, may Zahra accept your tears and give you no grief other than the grief of Abi Abdullah Hussein. He says, put your arms in my neck so I can drag you to the tent. Ali Akbar puts one arm into the neck of Hussein, but his other hand is protecting his chest. Hussein alayhi salam says, Ali Akbar, you have to help me out here. Put the other hand as well. Ali Akbar says, Baba, don't move that hand. Don't move that hand. Hussein alayhi salam is the Imam. He moves the hand. He sees the broken spear in the chest. He sees the broken spear in the chest. Imagine, elderly father has been picking up bodies since the morning. Now he sees his young son, resemblance of Rasulullah with the broken spear in his chest. The heart says, it's not written in any maqtal, but the heart says that he would have turned towards where Amirul Mu'mineen was buried and said, oh my father, it was easy for you to pull out the door of Khaybar, but it's difficult for me to pull out the spear from the chest of my son. He pulls out the spear, a gush of blood comes out, Ali Akbar is dead. He drags the body into the tent. The women come out. The women come out, they form a circle, they say, the one whom we had taken care of, made sure he grew up into a handsome man. We had so many wishes for him. Today he's dead. Ya Rasulullah, the one who resembled you is no more. Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein,
there's the Abdullah, we just need water, Father, some water, where's your flag bearer?